Alright, hello everybody. My name is Ryan Strong, and this is my week 9. I guess it's technically considered Milestone 9 slash kind of gold release version of the game. Did quite a bit of work that we'll go over. So we kind of combined 8 and 9 because this is getting towards the end of class. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to do a little bit more work or not to consider another week for 9, but I'm assuming, just in case, that this is the final part. Hopefully it is. It's been a very long, stressful, and fun as well time. A lot of work that I've done for these all of these milestones, starting with 1. So for 8 and 9, the biggest thing, 8 was completing the credit scene. I showed that in the previous video. I will show it briefly again. I also had in their main menu, which I had kind of pushed to this week, but I actually looked at it a bit, and I had other things that were more important to deal with than to worry about changing up that main menu. The main menu functions like it should, so not too worried about making too many changes on that. The biggest issue I ran into, so user testing. After speaking with my instructor, we decided that it would be best if, since I graduated from Full Sail with my bachelor's degree in game design, it would be best if I, tried to talk to some of my friends and prior classmates to see if I get some of them to test for me, because they have experience with doing proper game testing, providing the right feedback that they know I would be looking for. The issue that I ran into, though, is nobody was able to. So I spent the majority of the week trying to get people to test. Two people tried to test today. One of theirs internet was not sufficient enough to do any testing. And the other person, they weren't able to get the game to download properly. So I'm still going to try and see about getting some more testing, just in case there's some last minute things that come up. But right now, as it stands, I'm kind of stuck with that. And then Milestone 9, coming up with game icon, which I have completed and I will show. And then again, same thing with user testing. So let's go ahead and get into Unity. We'll start off at the start menu here, the main menu. So nothing's really changed here. Still have the name of the game, start button, and the credits button. Credits obviously leads you directly to the credit scene, and start takes you directly into the game. We will go, before we do any of that, let me go ahead and pull up the player settings so I can give you a rough idea. So this is the default icon. You can't see it too well here, so I will open up another image of it in a moment. But I added that, so that's what would show up on the player's actual background when they in their icon app list. And all it is this PNG, which I will open up real quick. Well, hopefully quickly. It seems to be taking a little bit of time to open. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, so here it is. Just a basic picture. I put CMS to let people know, okay, that's the name of the game. Coal Mine Escape. I guess I went with S instead of E. Kind of a background picture of an old actual coal mine, and then a dirt bike. So just something basic that I think kind of serves its purpose and let people see the game. Alright, and we'll go real quick to the credit scene just so that you can see that again real quick. So again, here's my credit scene. It's real basic. It's just a black background, got a main menu button here, and then you have the actual credits, me when I started creating it, and all the different assets that I used for the game. Very simple. And I can go over the programming that I did real quick for this, because I have a little bit of programming that I did, and I don't think I went over it before, so just so that you have a full understanding. So I gave myself a public float speed here, and I didn't give it any variables. And now that I'm talking about it, I do remember talking about it in there, and I will show you. We'll just go over it real quick again. So, and then the update. So the second the game starts, or the scene starts, the transform.translate is going to start going up times the speed, which right now would be set to 0, times time.delta time. So what that means is it's going to say, okay, well, my speed I set in here in the inspector because I made it public in the script. I put it to 30. Gives it a nice decent speed to kind of start going up. So pretty basic, but it functions the exact way I need it to. Alright, next we'll move into the really important stuff. So I spent a lot of time in here over the past couple days and done not like major changes or anything, but I did add a bunch of stuff around or move stuff around, do things that we'll talk about. So one of the first things is I was going to add a button to this pause menu to say, you know, if you're stuck, well, hey, press this button and you can get unstuck. But I felt that at the time initially putting it together, I would rather have it on the main screen for now and maybe move it later. So you can actually see it behind here. So what I'll do is I will go down and take this pause menu, and I'm going to get rid of it. So you can now see, and I got to get rid of the score canvas too. So now you can see this is just the canvas that the player sees when they're playing the game. You have this button here. It's literally just says stuck with a question mark. Good indication for the player, especially for if for some odd reason you get stuck in a tree or between two bushes or something like that. I've seen this happen, and it's been really hard to figure out a way to kind of go about fixing that. I could have added a, oh well, okay, if the player's not moving for so many seconds, then do this. But I felt that rather than making the player wait a bunch of time, I would give them a button that says, hey, if you're stuck, hit this button, and what it does is it moves you to a different checkpoint. So how I did that was I went into the game manager here and I added this function here, public void reload checkpoint. In this checkpoint, I say PLR equals game object dot find with tag player. Now with this PLR here, it's this actual function up top, public game object PLR. All right, and then in there I say, okay, PLR dot transform dot position equals PLR player dot get component my script check pause. So it's the exact same thing as the Death Zone script, except instead of utilizing an on-trigger enter and then pulling the tag player and pulling all that info, I instead just say, okay, this actual game object's transform.position is going to equal the game object, the player check position from this player checkpoint script here. Very useful. I've used it a couple of times to test it out to see how it works, and it works very, very well. Initially in here I actually added a if PLR equals null, then do all this, and I found that that doesn't work the way I want, because yes, initially it's going to equal null, but the second you hit that reset button, it's no longer going to equal null, which means you can no longer perform any of these functions in here. So I got rid of that, and that actually fixed that problem. The next thing that I did was I went in, and a lot of people were complaining about getting turned around and not knowing exactly where they were going at times. So to fix that, I added, it looks kind of basic right now, but it actually serves a very, very good purpose, and I personally like it. I think it's a good indication to the player. This plane here that says wrong way, turn around. Just a quick indication to the player, hey, oh crap, I'm going the wrong way. I should probably turn around. And if you notice, you don't see it if you're going the right way. I went that method for now because I think that's the easiest for me to indicate to the player without having to add too much extra to the game, such as creating a bunch of waypoints and then trying to calculate the waypoints and screwing something up with that, due to the fact that a lot of the things that I've had to do with this game due to my camera is anytime I go through an object that, such as the checkpoints, I have to destroy that game object before my camera gets up to it, otherwise the camera zooms into it really closely and it screws up the game. So that ended up being the best way, I felt, for me to get this to function. The next thing that I did, which was a very important thing that I did, was, let me see, yes, okay. My instructor, one of them, mentioned to me a couple times about the motorcycle and its turning. They felt that in situations where you're trying to go around a tight turn, you should be able to go around that tight turn if, like, maybe you hit the brake and you start to slow down, so you decide, you know what, okay, I want to make this tight turn, so you slow down to do that tight turn. And that wasn't possible initially because I wasn't really sure how to do that. I found out that I could change the stiffness that you see over here, and I changed it to 1.5, but all that did was make it to where no matter when you were playing, if you were going normal speed, if you were going slowing down, whatever the case was, it was always a sharper turn, which meant on some devices it was really impossible for the player to control the motorcycle. So I found a fix to that, and that's why you see this Excel here at the bottom. It's currently at 0 because I'm not going anywhere. But once I hit the gas, if I play the game and I hit the gas, which I'll show you in a moment, the Excel will go all the way from 0 to 1. It'll go, 0.01 all the way until it hits 1. It's super fast. You don't really notice it, but it'll go all the way up to +1. And then if I hit the reverse button or the brake button, it'll drop back down to 0 and then go past 0 and get to -1. So what I did was I created a function inside my script, which I can show here, and I think there's a way to zoom in on this stuff. I've never really done it before. Here we go. Alright, make it so you guys can actually see this a little better. I'm sorry for not doing this before, but where's my script? Okay, bike control. So in my bike control, I added in this update here. So I have this function here of Excel. It's a public float, and like you see over here, so I'm saying flat out, if Excel equals 0, then you're going to take bike settings.stiffness and make it equal 1. Bike settings.stiffness, all that is it's a separate class inside of this main class that holds all of the bike settings, and stiffness happens to be the one that controls how fast you can turn and how sharp you can do those turns. And then I say, else if Excel is less than or equal to -0.1 F, then do this. And what it is bike settings.stiffness will equal 1.5 F. What that's doing is it's saying that, okay, as long as I am braking, then, or slowing down, then my stiffness is going to increase to 1.5 so that I can actually make that sharper turn. It functions actually very well. I don't know why it took me so long to figure that out, and the only reason I figured it out is one of my instructors and I were talking about it at a meeting for a little while, and we realized that was what needed to be done instead, because I was trying a couple of other things, such as changing the speed and things like that, and that doesn't really work the way it should. So got that to work, and now it's doing what it's supposed to. Go figure, right? So what I'll do is I'll do a quick playthrough here so you can see that number here change and then the stiffness change. So first we'll start with Excel. So you see it's at 1, and then if you look up, the stiffness is at 1. I'm going to hit the brake, it's going down, and that changed to 1.5. So I'll show it again. This time watch the stiffness. Alright, negative, now 1.5, and it's still there. So it's functioning, it's doing really good. It's changing like I want it to, which is making it to where you can make a little bit sharper of a turn. It's a little bit easier to do when you're going quite a bit faster, just because when you slow down from a slow speed, when you slow down, it's not really the same. So it's just something that you can do to kind of fix. So next thing I'll show real quick is this stuck button. So I just went through a checkpoint. I'm going to stop here because I'm like, oh no, I'm trapped between a tree. And I'm going to hit this button. Well, there you go. I'm no longer trapped between that tree. I can continue again. Oh, I got trapped between that tree again for some reason. Well, not anymore. So it functions very good. So let me go through another checkpoint just so you can actually see it work at more than just that first checkpoint, because if it only works on the first checkpoint, then that's kind of pointless, right? So we want to make sure that the player is able to utilize this button anytime they're playing, no matter where they're at. So I got stuck between here, I can't move, and look, hey, I went through the checkpoint. It functions the way it's supposed to. So that should be very helpful for players. And I'll do one last show of something, this going the wrong way thing, because that is something else that the player's going to need to know while they're playing. If they're going the incorrect direction, then that's going to be a hindrance. So we're going, turn around. I got turned around for some odd reason. Oh, well, look at that. I guess I shouldn't go that way. Let me go ahead and turn back around so I can go the right way. Alright, look at that. Now I'm going the right way, and I'm not going to see it. So that is that. So yeah, a lot of work done. A lot of work complete, and I hope honestly that I am done with this part. It's been a lot of work, and I would like to try and move on soon to do more with this later on. I don't know. I haven't really decided the steps I want to take with it yet. Still working on that. I guess that's the point of doing a green light and seeing where we go. So I hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.